Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. And hope you like this video and subscribe. So we'd like to talk about, on this video right now, former Yankee Hall of Famer, Derek Jeter. And we're only going to talk about Jeter because he has begun a broadcasting career, and it's not gotten off to a very auspicious start. It's gotten off to a bit of a snooze fest. He's come across as a bit of a wet blanket. Now, if you want to watch a video of me goofing on Derek for the next how many minutes, this is the video you want to subscribe to. You find out what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to say. So here we go. This is awful announcing. To succeed on Fox, or on any network for that matter, that's my commentary, Derek Jeter just needs to loosen up. Quote, he's a smart guy and knows the game, but he just doesn't have it. And that's not good. All right, I'm going to skip this part. I don't care. Now, Derek Jeter's debut season as an MLB analyst, it created a remarkably little buzz for the first ballot Hall of Famer who played his entire career with the New York Yankees. He's been stiff as a board with a non-existent sense of humor. I think we've seen that. Jeter hasn't exactly endeared himself to the audience, displaying the annoyed body language of someone who'd rather be loading up a dishwasher than sharing a studio desk with Fox colleagues David Ortiz and Alex Rodriguez, with whom he has a complicated history. He certainly does. Here's the thing about Derek Jeter. He's one of the most guarded players that's come down the pipe here in New York. He was a guy, he never said anything important to the media, ever. Everything was a patent line that he learned in coming up to the minor leagues. He never said anything of consequence. He never said anything controversial. He never said anything interesting. Now, he'd been the owner of the Marlins for the last few years. He was sort of running the ball club, and he quit because they found out they weren't going to spend money with me while they went to postseason. And the Marlins are such a disaster that the lady that he hired to run the team, she quit. Kim Nang, if you didn't know, she quit because they just so poorly run down there. But Jeter's had this. First of all, Jeter's had a weird relationship with both of these two players. David Ortiz, who basically bashed in the Yankees for all those years, starting in 2004, and A-Rod, who embarrassed Jeter when they were younger. When A-Rod said that Jeter wasn't as good as him and Nomar Garcia-Parra, he never forgot that. So that's sort of rubbing the two totally different personality types. But let me read you this part, and I thought this was funny. I saw the clip. I can't play the clip. Jeter's lone viral moment this postseason came when the fun-loving Ortiz. It is fun-loving. Don't question him about his. I think it's irony that A-Rod and Ortiz are on the same broadcasting table. One is in the Hall of Fame, and the other is not. One failed the drug PED test, the other didn't. One's in the Hall of Fame, they both failed it, but one's in and one's not. One bullied the media from shutting up, the other one didn't. All right, let me get back to what I was saying. Jeter's lone viral moment this postseason came. What the hell am I? Jeter's lone viral moment this postseason came when the fun-loving Ortiz distributed cowboy hats to his fellow panelists, which the legendary shortstop clearly wanted no part of. Claiming to be in on the joke, Jeter downplayed the awkwardness in a subsequent tweet. Though, his explanation read like spent, pushing a new narrative after rightfully being labeled a wet blanket. I mean, really, he gave these guys cowboy hats, black cowboy hats, and they look pretty good. Jeter wouldn't put it on. He said, New Yorkers don't wear these things. Hey, Derek, you're not from New York. You're from Indiana. A-Rod's from New York. He grew up in the Bronx and in Puerto Rico. Just so you know. As a relative newcomer to sports media, perhaps Jeter deserves the benefit of the doubt. Though if this is who he wants to be, playing humorous curmudgeon to Ortiz's zany prankster, it might be time to cultivate a new image, one that isn't a fun vacuum sucking up joy with the surgical efficiency of a Dyson V8. You get the sense as he sulks quietly at his desk, routinely going minutes, if not entire segments, without contributing. Jesus sees this as beneath him, grunt work reserved for needy narcissists in a last-ditch effort to stay relevant. Which begs the question, if he doesn't enjoy it, why did Jeter take the job? Why did he take it? Since retiring in 2014, Jeter's followed an unusual trajectory, starting a family with former Sports Illustrated model Hannah Davis, founding a popular website for athletes to share their stories, the Players Tribune, holding a prominent role, however briefly, in the Marlins front office, and appearing in a 7-part docuseries chronicling his rise to fame. Boasting a net worth north of $200 million, Jeter could easily have retreated from the public eye, leaving out his years as an impossibly wealthy recluse, content with his legacy as one of the most unflappable postseason performers of a generation. His reputation, his ambition, and entrepreneurial spirit are both admirable. That also points to an identity crisis of sorts. It's true. His days as New York's most eligible bachelor of distant memory, there's a relentlessness about Jeter that permeates his every move. Running through his post-MLB bucket list in rapid succession, throwing ideas at the wall, seemingly at random, and seeing what sticks. Whatever the 49-year-old father of four is searching for, he doesn't seem to be finding it at Fox. No, he's not. There's a fine line between cool and aloof, and Jeter's default setting veers dangerously close to the latter, showing little patience for Ortiz's on-air shenanigans while continuing to keep his former teammate A-Rod at arm's length. Fox, in its lust to compete with ESPN and others in the broadcast rights arms race, has developed a habit of miscasting talent, too, often jamming square pegs into round holes. Jeter would seem to be the latest example of that trend, wrongly assuming his on-field accolades would translate to behind the microphone. Jeter is, by all counts, a baseball savant, a student of the game who experienced firsthand some of the most iconic moments in MLB history. And while many fledgling announcers will stumble and stammer, paralyzed by the echo chamber of their own thoughts, Jeter isn't one of them. Present himself with the same poise and confidence that made him a 14-time All-Star. He's handsome, well-spoken, and enormously successful. The only criteria is missing some semblance of a personality. Well, this was the problem with, by the way, this was the problem of Joe DiMaggio. That's the one thing about him, and very similar to Joe DiMaggio. People said Joe DiMaggio had no personality, by the way. But he was a great player. John Smoltz isn't a bundle of joy either. That guy didn't shut up. But what separates him from Jeter is his cogent analysis, delivering substance, whereas Jeter tends to hit the same tired notes, offering boilerplate observations that don't move the needle. It's disappointing. I would mention about John Smoltz. He don't shut up. You don't even have to ask him how his day is going. He'll just talk. He'll just tell you. It's disappointing, but also who Jeter is. Consistent with his reputation as a fiercely private person, refusing to give the New York tabloids that pound of flesh. Although those are probably good survival instincts in a city ravenous for even the smallest morsel of gossip, it doesn't make for compelling TV. Where Jeter's stubborn refusal to open up, posing a significant obstacle to his long-term success. Before he joined Fox, Jeter partnered with ESPN on The Captain. The documentary, which premiered last summer, was largely viewed as a failure. A vanity project, because there are things about Derek I'll never talk about, but there are some really tough things about Derek. One of which is when he was getting up there in the last few years as a player, he was a bachelor, he would invite women to his apartment, and the next day, yada, 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 he would give them a signed baseball to take with them. I am not joking. And the media was getting very annoyed with him, to be honest with you. And they were getting tired of covering for him and his attitude. He's got a lousy attitude, to be honest with you. That is sort of what I've heard here and there over the last few years. They got tired of covering for him. They knew that he's sort of a cold fish. He's very much like Joe DiMaggio. Beneath Jeter's cold exterior is a soft spot waiting to be exposed. Okay. We saw it come out last week when Astros outfielder Mauricio Dubon cited him as an inspiration for pursuing a big league career. However, those moments have been few and far between with Jeter, still wearing armor, refusing to engage when Ortiz teases him about the Yankees' historical lapse. Oh yeah, he's not going to like that. You know. I will say this about Ortiz. At least he's willing to joke and play around with the other, goof on the other players, and he's been doing that for years. But Jeter's not a guy that does that. Like I said, he's stiff. He won't talk off the top of his head. He'll think about what he's going to say. Everything is scripted with Derek. I don't know if this guy, he can't. I mean, he might be one of these players that has a tough time dealing with being retired. But, like I said, the media were getting very tired of him here in New York. There were a lot of articles about what was going on with his extracurricular activities from page 6 in the New York Post. So this was well known here of what he was, getting into. No pun intended. But, yeah, he's a stiff. You can't. I was very surprised when I saw him. He's going to do broadcast. He's boring. He don't say anything important or even interesting. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, we'll keep talking about this. I mean, we know what's going to happen in the World Series. They're going to play. We know that the World Series will be a very good series. I expect that it'll be a toss-up. I would think that the Rangers will probably win, but it's going to. I say it's probably going to go 7 games. I predicted the last series, the Rangers and the Astros would go 7 games. But I thought that the Rangers had a shot, but that the Rangers and the Diamondbacks are going to have a very interesting series. I expect it to go 7 games, and probably a real classic. You got an underdog against a team that has a lot of experience and a very experienced manager. So let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hood too. Thank you, and I'll see you later.